How you doing?
I don't have your phone number anymore.
I'll get it to you. How you doing? Did you want to eat that? No. You want?
No, yeah.
How you doing? Good. How you doing, Reverend? Yeah. You want to eat them?
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You're talking nonsense. That's why I don't have one.
You realize I'm 62 years old.
It's okay. That's fine.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm still here after you leave, so I want to make sure it gets some too.
Pay for Sunday, Sunday chicken. I had to pack to play Monday night. So I had now watch ESPN. I don't like that.
We were just thinking about this.
It was the way they've been playing. Health wise, better off. regular blood pressure.
Oh, there it is. I'm looking for you.
I'm right here, right?
Okay, bring this down.
No.
Remember, whatever it's ever best for you.
I hate to cover this tonight. Recording first podcast.
I'm not getting any information. If you want to,
Yes, I did. I know, we got covered up.
I'll tell you about it. Good, buddy? Hey, man, how are you? Sometimes you gotta consult.
How are you?
Doesn't do me no good. That's me. I came in this morning just after 9. There you go. This is over with. I might be. Eats all the time.
No.
I'm the only person in the board right now that has the ability to do that. You see that, Chase? If I do that. Well, very little, so it's not just me, but a friendly house. There's always an organization. Doing stuff. Down the line, they want us, that years ago, the police department had 8, 10, 12 officers. So I'm trying to teach what that was as well.
All right, everybody. It is 6:35, and I am opening our Parks and Recreation Committee meeting this evening. I'm going to take a quick roll call. Mr. Diaz.
Here.
Thank you. And Ms. Meyer.
Present.
Okay, tonight we're going to do this a little bit differently. We've had a lot of input from the community via email and phone call, and so we know where a lot of people stand. But I wanted to utilize this time here tonight for the committee itself to discuss and ask questions of our deputy law director, and make sure that we all are understanding what's going on. And then once we are satisfied, I can open it up to the rest of committee this evening. So to begin, Mrs. Meyer, do you have anything that you wanted to share since you're right next to me?
Gosh, well, you kind of caught me off guard.
Sorry.
So it was important for me to read through, and I think all of council received the email from Ms. Brindley with the questions and laying out her concerns about the easements. And then we got the response from the law director. So I really went through that, and the major concern for me was that if we did indeed put the easement on and then gave the park back, did not keep it, that that easement would be able to be extinguished, that would be able to be taken off, and it can be.
Yes.
So that was what was important for me to see, that we weren't putting, that wasn't going to be a true hardship to the family if we did this. Yeah, I guess that's all I want to say at the moment. And then I'll see if there's, if any other questions come up from what people said. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to, I did give everyone a letter here from Mrs. Yolanda Adams from representing the Greater Grace, Greater Mitchell Chapel AME Church and a Grace Episcopal. She brought that today, so I did want you to read that as well. And also let the public know that we have received countless emails, from those who are in support of the easement, or as well as those who are not support. So we want you to know we do get a lot of those emails. We don't read them all because we'd probably be here all night. But if you are out there, you're watching a live stream, we all get them, and we do consider them greatly. But I just wanted you guys to know that this letter was brought today. So
Can I correct some? I mean,
Yes.
we read them. We just don't read them into the record.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Madden, can I ask you to explain again what happens if we ever return it?
Yes. So this would be a reversion. This park was donated to the city of Mansfield in 1942. It was donated to a parks committee in 1941 that then donated to the city for use as a park in 42. That grant contains language that dictates that the property is continued to be used as a park or for a proper public purpose. So if that stopped, that would create what's called a reversion right. Reversion right, it's an aberration, so it is different than what everyone's used to. But in the event of a reversion, title would basically dial back to 1941. So the heirs would take title as of, and the court would apply it as if they had title in 1941. So they could sue to quiet title, and they could eliminate anything that the city of Mansfield did with their title during the time it was held by the city. Thank you.
Thank you for that. This property, we got a brand new, fresh map of what we're looking at and what that means for the actual footprint. And I know there's a lot of different people who utilize this area. And, I've been on council for 6 years now. And one of the things that I have harped on, probably ad nauseum for the last 6 years, is that the environment that we live in and the opportunities that we have to preserve the unique species, to preserve our water and air quality. These are things that are very important to me. And I made that very clear when I came on to city council. And honestly, this is probably the first time in 6 years that I've really had an opportunity to get to put my words into action. And that's exciting, but I'm also thinking future case here. We could have school groups coming in and getting to see, the last meeting that we had, Mr. Miller talked about the species and the ways that we could incorporate the community. There are things for children. There are things for garden clubs. There are ways for people to be involved that are maybe a little bit outside the box of what we normally think about when we think about a park. And, we've talked a lot in the last 6 years about how we'd really like to see the public and private groups coming together and working for a common goal. And this is a lovely example of that maybe being put into action now. So it's a great thing that we have an opportunity to even discuss this. And I'm very appreciative of all the opinions and all the education that we've been granted throughout this process. I've learned a lot. So now, do either of you two have any more questions or comments or anything you want to add?
I was
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to echo that. And you and I have had conversations, and I do feel like we do consistently talk about the importance of public-private partnerships. And we've got an organization here who is here saying we're here to help. And they were willing to give of their time and their talents. And I think it would be a slap in the face to not allow them to offer up, and it sets a bad precedent. I mean, we won't have other people, step up to help. So that being said, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Now, does anybody else on council have a question or comment that they would like to discuss? Ms. Mount.
Thank you. From the exact wording that I'm reading here, I'd heard it said that we wanted to clarify this would provide no hardship to the family. It appears that the family will still, if it was to ever revert to them, have to sue to clear this. That costs a lot of money. So I would, according to this legal opinion provided us, it would appear that it would indeed provide a hardship by us doing this if we cannot find another way than the way it is currently presented to us.
That is a good point. Can you maybe elaborate a little bit more on what that process entails? If we were to reach that.
Yeah,
We're not planning on it, but
In the event of a reversion, if this all flowed down, I would anticipate legal expenses to be between $3,000 and $5,000 for the family.
does that answer your question?
In $20-25. I don't know when this would be.
Good point. Okay. In $20-25. So
Meaning now in 2025, that would be approximate cost.
who knows what it'll be like. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah.
So Ms. Mount is thinking that if this should happen, it will cost the family X amount of dollars. But also, if it should revert, does it automatically revert if there's a breach of contract, or you still have to go through there's a cost in doing that too?
Yeah, so there's two paths that I can see to a reversion. The first would be a voluntary deed by the city, where they literally deed it back, although that would actually not be a reversion. That would be a deed from the city. So in order to effect a reversion, they would actually need to bring suit to enforce their reversion rights. So they would have to file suit for this to be a reversion.
Mhm.
Yeah, which
Possibly.
is what we're talking about.
So I'm just thinking that even if they're thinking that the easement would cost the family money, but also the reversal would cost the family money also, basically.
Yes, you know,
Right.
in most instances, when you get a
so
windfall,
whichever
you're going to
way-
have some legal expenses.
Right, whichever way you take it, it's still gonna cost the family if it reverses. So, I mean, it's not because of the easement, that's all I'm saying.
But that is only in the case that the city makes the decision that they no longer
And
want.
I agree.
This is not just, like on a random
So I am
Tuesday.
for it. I'm just saying
Okay.
that this part that with the ease, it's saying as if the easement is gonna
Sure.
cost the family, when if you reverse it, it's still
Sure.
gonna cost the family.
Mhm,
So, I mean, just for, other people to know.
Okay. Reverend?
So, Mr. Martin, let me want to get some clarification on the guarantee acknowledgement. The North Central Ohio Lands Conservancy, Inc., Ohio, not-for-profit corporation to guarantee, the guarantee by duly and authorized trustee hereby agrees that upon receiving this easement, it is in its expense, it accepts the responsibility set forth. The guarantee further acknowledges that this right of the easement is subject to the period due restriction as recorded in the previous transfer record of 1941 and 1942, right? So then on 11, it says when the North Central's Conservancy, if it sees it as a debilitating event, then that any citizen of Richland County may institute legal action to have guaranteed right under the easement transferred to the Natural Conservancy or a similar organization. So what I wanted to know is number 9 nullifies number 11 nullifies number 9. And also want to know too that can you help me understand that?
I mean, I disagree with your interpretation of clauses 9 and 11. Clause 9 is an acknowledgement that really has almost no legal meaning. It has been included as a result of public comment because we wanted it to be clear to the community that the grantee of this easement acknowledges and understands that their rights are subject to the reversion rights from 1941 and 1942. So this is just a statement of legal reality. This doesn't create that reality. This is an acknowledgement of a legal reality. And then number 11, this is what would happen in the event that the grantee organization, North Central Ohio Land Conservancy, Inc., if they went defunct or suffered a debilitating event, this is a device that allows another community group, such as the churches that included these letters or whoever wanted to, could take the mantle up and could continue to maintain that conservation easement in the way that it was intended by the grant of this. However, in the event of a reversion, Section 11 goes out the window with everything else. So that's how that would.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess to take a step back and to look at the broad picture, my question is this about conservation? And I am for conservation, but the catching point seems to be, I'd say in many circumstances as an overall idea, the catching point seems to be the perpetuity and the giving up control. We're not giving up the park, but we're giving up control of the park. Can another proposal be found that would be agreeable to the conservation group, the city, and the neighbors, and address all the concerns that have been brought up, that isn't perpetual. So a conservation agreement. Because that would demonstrate, is this about genuinely the conservation aspect, or is this about the group that wants to gain control of this park?
I do want to kind of push back on that there briefly. The way that this has been represented is that we are just handing land over to somebody else and that the city won't have anything to do with it. And that's not the intention. The Land Conservancy is interested in this easement so that they can take responsibility for the work, that no matter how advanced and well-staffed our Parks Department is, we do not or will not in the near future have the bodies to do the work to take care of this. And so this is a private organization stepping in and saying, hey, we're going to help you, and we're going to help you for free to maintain this area. Does that answer your question, or do you want Mr. Manning to?
I generally understand. I am clear on the fact that we're not giving up the park, because if we did that, it would be going back to the family. The sticking point is giving up the control. We are giving up the control of the park, and we'll probably get to it later. And my other concern is that we still do not have a precisely clear understanding of exactly how many acres, because we've heard everything from 12 to 17 and a quarter. So I would like to see that very precisely defined before we would proceed on this.
Mr. Manning, I'll let you take that then for the legality.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, first, the control of the park. The city would not be relinquishing control of the park. This is a conservation easement that prevents the city from logging the park. So this would continue in my conversations with city administration. This would continue to be part of the park, be publicly accessible, and if I understand correctly, they're going to build additional walking path with Cleveland Avenue access. I apologize. What's the second part of your question?
The precise clarification of exactly what boundaries,
Sure.
what surveyed points, because
Yeah.
we've heard everything from 12 to 17 and a quarter acres.
Yeah, so there's currently not an existing legal description of this precise piece of property, right? And to generate one is going to be a few $1,000s. So we drafted Section 10 legal description. This creates a process by which the grantee would have a beat to go raise some money to pay a surveyor to get a legal description generated. This section also includes language that dedicates authority to the Public Works Director, who could kind of serve as a backstop, and he would have basically veto power. And if he felt that that the legal description generated would somehow impede the other uses of the park, then he would refuse to sign the document. So we kind of put that in as a backstop to protect all of the ongoing and continuing uses of the park. Thank you.
All right. In the interest of
And
time.
again, excuse
Hmm.
me. And again, Mr. Martin, this has to be a perpetual. It's not something it's gonna be at a limited time. It has to be perpetual, right? For the easement.
Yes, that is true.
Okay. I'm going to let everybody chew on that before we get to the actual voting portion of our evening. And I will take a motion to close the public or Parks Committee.
That's wonderful. It's now time for economic development. We'll open the meeting at 7:55. Jodica, if you could come down, and 6:55. It even says that there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. 6:55. I didn't want to suggest you took a lot of time. So tonight we're talking about, mine is that one fixed over there?
Scoot over.
It should be
Okay.
Should be on. All right. And maybe, did you want to open comment or let Jody could open? Go ahead and give us an idea what's going on with this bill a little bit. I thought you could explain it better.
I think the mayor.
I will
had to
give just
comment.
a short intro. So we had, it's been a long time, let me say it that way, since the city has had its own comprehensive plan. Jodica will tell you a little bit more about the last countywide one. And so this was something that I really wanted to start last year. When a developer comes to town, that's one of the first things they ask for is the comprehensive plan. And really what that is a land use plan. So it's us all agreeing together how we want to use land. So we just because of timing and change, we had to pull it into this year. In the meantime, Shelby also decided they wanted to do one and the county needed an update. So rather than all three of us paying for three separate plans, we're working together and proposing to work together. So I'll let Jodica tell you a little bit more about why the plan is important and some of the ways that people will able to be involved in it.
Thank you, Mayor. You mentioned it's a future land use plan, and I will elaborate that a little bit because a component of it is a land use plan, but a comprehensive plan is really a guiding document that speaks to a region's desire for its future growth and development. So it not only acts as a visionary tool because it talks to the community's overarching vision for the community, but also the goals as it relates to infrastructure, housing, economic development, quality of life. Something you just spoke about, our natural resources, how are we preserving them? How are we getting ready for maybe weather events in the future, the changing trends that we are seeing. So it really takes a very holistic, data-driven analysis of not only existing conditions, but also future growth patterns. And then it relies heavily on community engagement and public participation. So through this comprehensive public engagement process and data analysis, it's really able to create a document that can not only guide decision makers and action takers on making sure that the everyday, day-to-day decisions that are made really is moving the region towards what what it kind of envisions as its future. So in the past, the county has had a comprehensive plan. The earliest that we found was from 1975. And back then, the area was booming. We were expected to have 250,000 people in the next 25 years. We even had a bypass. So that comprehensive plan looked very different from a comprehensive plan that we created in 2006. But since then, we had the economic recession, and the region kind of had its challenges, and I think we're finally at a strategic point where we feel like we are turning a corner. We're seeing an upward trend. We're seeing development around us. We've seen growth in the Central Ohio region that we're really experiencing some impact on the county. So I think it's a strategic time for us to kind of, as a community, come together, assess, land is limited, right? We are not creating more land. What is the best impactful way that we can make decisions for that land? So really kind of identifying where do users go in the most productive way when decisions come in front of this body or the planning commissions? Is there something that helps us, makes us the right decisions? It's a living document, so it's not a static document. As a community, as decisions are made and trends change, the goal is to update it, but we want to have something that you as policymakers can rely on to make decisions, and a comprehensive plan is really that guiding document to help you do that. And I think I'll just talk to the second part of it, is why we're doing it jointly, right? Like, why is so Regional Planning Commission, we really look at ourselves as facilitators. That's our role in the community. We are here to help, all the cities, the villages, and the townships kind of collectively think about the challenges and the opportunities. So with the city of Mansfield kind of, deciding to do a comprehensive plan, and Shelby, and our county plan being almost 20 years now, I think this is great, because and I'll tell you this, we've had consultants come and talk to us, and what they all remark was like, this is such a novel way of doing a comprehensive plan. Like, the city and the county is looking at this collectively, because we are a region. Like, I think everything that the city does impacts the county, and decisions that all the individual communities take impact each other. So we just wanted to make sure that we're having these discussions in a collaborative manner. So I hope that kind of gives a brief background to just the comprehensive plan in general. And regional planning put the RFP out. We'll act as the general facilitator of the whole process. So there's one point of contact, one kind of process that the consultant can work with.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
think that helps a lot. When are the county and Shelby ready to go, and when do you want to start? How long do you
we are
think
ready
this
to
is?
go.
Ready to go.
Yeah, Shelby's committed. We are just waiting on y'all. We put the RFP out. We've had a consultant interviews. We haven't signed a contract, obviously, but
Okay.
we are ready. We are ready anytime to get
All
this
right.
kick-started.
And an approximate length of time till we'd
We're
have
looking at 12 to 15 months. I
Okay.
think, yeah, we think
Okay.
that's a reasonable amount for something. We want to make sure, we get good public input, and public engagement takes time. So 12 to 15 months.
Thank you. Anybody else on console that has a question? Maybe our environmental person, Ms. Burns.
Yeah, my question is really around, like, how are you going to get the community input on this? What methods are you going to be rolling out, and about when would you be doing that?
So as soon as we kickstarted, the consultant that we'll begin work with will put together what we call a public engagement plan, and that really kind of hones what are the methods that's going to be used. But broadly speaking, we do it like a multi-pronged approach, like there's no one way. There'll be surveys sent out to households through various methods. Maybe it's mailing through your utility bills, kind of, with trying to ask those questions, those initial questions about, what they think about the community, what are their thoughts and feedback. And we envision like having multiple workshops with just stakeholders. So it might be the business community, it could be downtown merchants, it could be community groups. So they could be like focused stakeholder groups. And then we'll have like, maybe we'll be out at community events. So maybe during the Richland County Fair, we could be out there. So that it's going to be multi-pronged. And then I think around 2 or 3 times through the process, we'll have open houses. So the public is invited. There'll be material related to the process itself that they can view and provide comments on. And we we plan to have a website that will stand up with all the information available at all times so public can go in and put comments throughout the process. So it'll be an ongoing process. It'll be all 12 months. You'll have some kind of public engagement going on.
Anybody else?
Sir, can I just add? Since we have,
Didn't see you, Bill.
sorry, that's okay. You can't. So since we have such a great crowd in the audience tonight, I do hope that you will keep an eye out for that. Obviously, council, we want your input as well, but it's really important. The plan is not as powerful if we don't have that input. So you'll hear about it. I'll push it out on our socials and that. But I did want to also just note this is in the budget. So we're here because of the cost amount, obviously, but it was budgeted for last year, so we're not appropriating.
Wonderful. If there's nothing else, I will close the meeting at 7:06 p.m. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
everyone. Thanks for coming.
Okay, before we start caucus, just like to make a quick kind of little housekeeping announcement. If you're planning on making public comment and you have not signed up to do so, please do so. If you could at this time, if you want to, the sign-up sheet is back here in this corner over here. So if you need to sign up, kind of quietly make your way over there and please sign up, because if you're not on the sign-up sheet, you will not be able to speak. So, okay, with that little housekeeping call, we'll start the caucus meeting at 7:06. And are there any committee reports? Mr. Diaz.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just some brief events happening between now and our next city council meeting. One being tomorrow, the Kaleidoscope Community Conversations. That's something that the Renaissance has been doing for almost 2 years. That's going to be tomorrow at 5:30. And the speaker this time is going to be Maya Frazier. So if you're interested in seeing that, I encourage you to go to the Renaissance website. Second event will be, this was recurring, but the final convening will be November 10th at Relax It's Just Coffee. It's a partnership between Relax and the Mansfield-Richland County Public Library. It's called Storytime at 10 a.m. So if you have some youngins, bring them to the library and have yourself a coffee as well. And the final thing I want to announce is on November 11th, the YMCA is going to be hosting Breakfast for the Brave. So this is a free breakfast for vets and those who are active in the military. It's going to be from 8 a.m. to 9:15 the Mansfield area wide. So if you know someone who has served the country or who's currently serving the country, you want to support them, please come out. They do encourage a lot of folks to come out and interact. And those conclude my announcements.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Also on Veterans Day is the Veterans Day Parade, and the parade master of has once again invited all elected officials to participate and show support for veterans. If anybody's interested, we usually meet there on Marion Avenue, close to the point. Thank you.
Time?
I knew you did. Yeah, I think it's 10. 10 o'clock. I'll be there at 10 o'clock. I think a parade steps off at 10:30.
Okay, 10 o'clock. Okay, any other committee reports, public input? With that, Mayor, we'll start with you.
Okay, a few quick updates. So first of all, we had a great planning meeting. Despite the status of downtown, we are planning to have our downtown New Year's Eve celebration. We may not have both balls able to drop from on high just because of that, but there's Dan Lewis for sure can go ahead and we will have the fireworks. So more to come as we get closer, but I know people have been asking. Yes, we will have Christmas lights too. Probably, obviously, we're missing some light poles at the moment, so not all the wreaths are going up this year, but we will have lights on the square. We will have some of the other lights that are out and about, and there will be a Christmas tree at the carousel. That maybe 2 actually, I think we got in the end. But so that is happening. More to come. I did put an update this week. I just wanted to give a shout out. We did a joint drive around earlier this year. Usually it's the admin. We pulled in the supervisors from the complex, talked about a number of projects, how we can all work together. One of the things that came out was a sign pollution project. So if you ever drive around and notice all of the signs that are everywhere, every block, there's many of them. Many of them are faded. You can't read them anymore. I think most people know not to park on Lexington Avenue, and yet we've got no parking signs every so many 100 yards. So the engineering team and the streets department teamed up. We've pulled 125 signs so far just on Lexington Avenue, Trimble and Park Avenue. And I know they've got more to come. So if you're driving around, you see pink tags, that's what that is. We'll continue to do it. We're not letting anything go to waste. If they're good signs, we'll put them and replace the faded signs in other spots. So, and I know they've also been talking with Sergeant Lumadou too, to make sure if there's things that police need, speed limit signs in certain areas, we can get those up. So I think that's just a good, we talked a lot about first impressions this year and trying to get our departments to work together. And I think that was a good win on that. Budget is coming your way. That is why I was late tonight. I have officially handed it off. So you will be getting that next week, and more to come on that. And I just also wanted to note, this has been talked about for a while, but we did put the finishing touches on the RFP for the Route 30 broadband project. And for those of you that haven't followed it, because probably doesn't sound that exciting, the state legislature, thanks to Representative Marilyn John, got $20 million in the state budget this year to run middle mile infrastructure all along Route 30 from Akron, Canton to Lima. Conveniently, we're right in the middle with an Air Force base or National Guard base that needs it for the cybersecurity wing. So our community drove that push for that. So that's going out after the first of the year. And then we will be seeing some expansion of broadband and high-speed internet. And that's a need around here. So more to come on that. But I did want to just give a shout out and make sure everyone knows that that's happening in the background.
Director Andrews?
I'm happy to announce we finally hired our new parks superintendent. This is the first time we ever involved city council. We had Councilman Diaz and Councilwoman Burns as part of the interview process. We received about 22 applications and we narrowed it down to 5. And we narrowed it down to our top candidate that I'd like to introduce. So Mike, will you want to stand up and recognize yourself? He was born and raised in Mansfield area. He's dedicated to community and has been married to his wife, Sarah, for 21 years and have 2 children, ages 20 and 17. Mike has a deep appreciation for parks and natural resources, developed through personal experience in Mansfield City Park System. He's a descendant of Mansfield founder James Hedges. Mike's excited to embrace the history and culture of the area in his role as new superintendent. It's really nice to have somebody that has a parks and recreation background running our city parks. And he's well connected with the community. He's part of the community, so I think that'll be an asset to Mansfield City Parks. Would you like to?
I want to thank Director Anderson, Mayor Perry for giving me the opportunity to serve the city that I grew up in. So, I've only been on the job 2 or 3 days, but I've had a chance to go around to a lot of the parks. A lot of them look the same, but there's upgrades definitely all over the place that we're really encouraging. The staff is great, and I've told them thank you for 5 people are working really hard to try to keep 20 parks clean and safe for everybody. So I really appreciate what they've been doing. I'm excited to lead that group. And really, what I'm most excited about is being in a room with other people who are excited about Mansfield Parks and want to see development in the future. So I'm excited to have a thanks for welcoming me, and I look forward to the city.
All right.
That was exciting.
Yeah. One of the other things that I was asked to do is kind of get the state of the salt and the snow plowing. We have a full barn of salt, and we just finished getting our bids. The cost of salt went up about $20 a ton. So it's going to cost us a little bit more to spread this year. We also have delivery scheduled for November, December. We cannot schedule delivery to salt until November. That's part of the bid agreement. So once we're able to do that, we'll start getting more salt. So as we get ready, we have deliveries coming if we need it. We have 11 large plows and 6 small plows. They're all serviced and ready to go. We hired 2 new drivers, CDL drivers, so we can have them in our big trucks. One is in the water department, one is in the sewer department. We have priority zones set up. We reevaluated priorities since a lot of things changed in the city as well. We actually have full staff of all of our mechanics. So we have 6 mechanics on board. So as things break down, which they do, we can keep things in service and keep them running on the streets as well. Something new that we set up, we have put in cameras and GPS systems in the snowplows. So we'll be able to see real life what the roads are and be able to assess the conditions. Also, too, we'll know where the plow's been and where they're going, and keep a better rack of what we're doing, how many miles we're plowing, the salt we're using. It gives us a lot of data that we didn't have before. This is also going to help us with our preventive maintenance program as well. That's something that we have lacked, and this is something that will help us extend the life of our vehicles, but also make sure they're safe and they're out there on the roads. Hopefully at the next council meeting or so, we'll give you a demonstration of the capabilities of that new system that we're working on. We're currently still working on leaves. We're really waiting for the leaves to drop on the trees. So we were all ready to go, and Mother Nature tricked us again. So we're ready to do it, and we're hitting different zones, but we may have to come back and redo things as the leaves come down. Also, effective November 1st, we started winterizing our parks. So if you notice, you go to the parks, the restrooms are closed or the drink fountains don't work. We have done it traditionally around November 1st. And we haven't had our hard freeze yet, but in Ohio, it can change within the day. So we're being proactive where we have restrooms. We put porta johns temporarily until we get the restrooms back open in the spring. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Director Porch?
Thank you, sir. So the fire department was just recognized by the American Heart Association for meeting or exceeding the 2025 mission of Lifeline standards for pre-hospital stroke and cardiac care. So this is the first time that the fire department has received that recognition. So I'm definitely very proud of the fire chief and the crews for getting that recognition from them. Just to update council, so we were expecting a new squad to arrive within this month, but then we were notified that there was a recall from Ford. So to put that in perspective, we've been waiting for this squad for almost 3.5 years. So the time that you either fire engines or squad, we're even, as we move forward, we're being told that those time lines are going to be longer. So to keep that in perspective. So I know the fire chief wasn't happy about that news, but obviously we want to make sure that any recalls are taken care of before that piece of equipment's put into service. For the police department, the chiefs have informed me that trick or treat went very well, was a huge success. The officers did a lot of trunk and treats throughout the city, and obviously that's always a big win. And then we're continuing to do foot patrol Friday and Saturday night in the downtown area. So that has been going on for at least a month. That will probably continue for probably about a month more while the weather is nice, just so everybody's aware of that. And that's all I have, sir.
Thank you. Director Converse?
Thank you. I'll be brief. I just want to let you know that, as the mayor indicated, we're working on the budget. We just got her version of it back. We have to do recalculations and updates of payroll information. And then we'll see how everything works out with that again. And there might need to be a little more conversations to have with the mayor again. Our goal is to have, we'll be submitting the legislation request tomorrow for the next meeting. So you'll have the document and to discuss in caucus and have first read at the next meeting. And then you'll have the 2 full meetings in December to review and discuss it even further if you would like. So you'll get 3 full reads for it before you will need to act on it. And we will definitely have it to you no later than the 14th. So it'll be the Friday before the next council meeting that you'll have it to review over the weekend if you want to take that time to do so. But we may need to push that time. Scott is going to be on vacation for a while during this time, and he is the one who handles all of the transfers for that. Thank you.
Thank you. And last but not least, Deputy Director Madden.
No updates from the law office. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. With that, we shall proceed with legislation. So we'll start with Bill 25-164. We'll call on Mrs. Meyer.
Thank you, sir. I hear him out in the hallway. So we want to have our police dog come in. Is it Mikhail? Okay. Uh-oh. Yeah. Welcome.
Sydney. Lane. Here's Tom.
So we are honoring. Say it.
Mikhail.
Mikhail. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, honoring K9 Mikhail upon his retirement from the Mansfield Police Department. And Delane, would you like to go ahead and read this now? Okay.
Okay, that this council, on behalf of the government and the citizens of the city of Mansfield, is privileged to honor and pay tribute to, how do you say his name again?
Mikhail.
Mikhail, upon his retirement with the Mansfield Police Department, K9 unit, on October 16th, 2025, after almost 6 years of service with the Mansfield Police Department K9 unit. K9 Mikhail, a Czech German Shepherd, began his service with the Mansfield Division of Police on February 15th, 2019, at 1.5 years old. Over the last 6 years, Mikhail faithfully served citizens of Mansfield before officially retiring on October 16th, 2025. Throughout his career, Mikhail demonstrated his exceptional skill and unwavering dedication. One of Mikhail's greatest strengths was his remarkable tracking ability. Over the years, he successfully tracked and located at least 9 suspects who fled from officers and vehicle stops, with 2 of those tracks stretching an impressive 1.3 miles and 1.4 miles. His talents extended beyond criminal cases. Mikhail located 4 missing children and 2 elderly individuals who had wandered from home. Mikhail's patrol career also included 4 official apprehensions, 1 breaking and entering suspect, 1 burglary suspect, 1 domestic violence warrant, and 1 mentally disturbed, possibly armed suspect. In addition to his tracking and apprehension work, Mikhail also contributed to narcotics and article searches, including assisting in a case that helped put a drug dealer behind bars. Of course, no canine career is without a few learning experiences. One of the more unforgettable moments came during a call involving a suspect threatening homicide and suicide. We found the suspect lying perfectly still under a blanket. When I commanded Mikhail to apprehend, I pulled the blanket back, and Mikhail bravely and enthusiastically attacked the blanket. The suspect wisely surrendered without a scratch. Through every track, apprehension, and success, K9 Mikhail had been a loyal partner, a fearless protector, and a beloved member of the Mansfield Division of Police. His service will always be remembered with gratitude and affection. On behalf of the city, we extend our sincerest appreciation and gratitude for Mikhail's years of loyal service and wish him all the best in his well-deserved retirement.
He said,
I just want to say thank you all for doing this for me, okay? I can't go without saying thank you to my family, because it takes I always tell young officers who's thinking about getting into K-9, it takes a family. A supportive wife and a supportive kids. My wife Jessica, son Nathan, daughter Grace, okay? I spent 6 days in the hospital about 3 years ago, and, you know, instead of getting him aborted, she took care of him, they took care of him. And even when, you know, we'd be at home and I'd be laying on the couch watching TV, my wife would take a ball and she would just go hide in the woods or go hide in the field and message me, come find me. And we track. And that's no doubt in my mind, his strengths and his skills come from my family and also my hard work. Like I said, off duty, my son would sometimes, Corey, I'm sorry about this. Corey's my training supervisor. My son Nathan would put on, you know, the bite sleeve and he'd take bites. Okay. My daughter Grace, she would, you know, eat the articles, and she'd throw the articles out there for me to go out and find them. We did this several times a week to keep his skills going. I cannot also go without thanking our training supervisor Corey Kaufman for doing a great job. My initial training officers, Steve Hornbeck, Sarah Napier, and also my fellow officers, Denny Kiner, Jacob Obach, John Stevenson. Those guys are the future of the K-9 Police Department, and they're going to kick some butt. Guys, this is by far one of the hardest things I've ever done in my career. Retiring him. I'm telling you, when you get into a situation, these dogs make you feel 10 foot tall and bulletproof. You know what I'm saying? And you can have the worst days or the worst days in the world. You know, you got your pup behind you. He's got your back. You know, multiple times, suspects, you know, I'm a big man, okay? I'm rather large. So these guys are always thinking about running from me. I jump out of the car. I say, I'm telling you, you run, I'm going to release my dog on you. A lot of times they back up. They don't want to give up. They don't want to get bit. So talk to the chief and get 10 more dogs. Okay. But thank you very much. I appreciate you. Let's go.
Really?
Is there any other question, comment, discussion on Bill 25-164?
Can I just add, if people haven't noticed, we do put the K-9 retirees on our retiree wall downstairs, which you should have seen when you come in. So I'm not sure if he's up there yet, but he will be soon.
Very good. Good. Okay, next is Bill 25-165. Mrs. Meyer.
Thank you, sir. 25-165 will be approving the presentation of Police Department K-9 Mikkel to his handler.
Any questions, discussion on 25-165? Okay. Moving on to Bill 25-166, Mr. Diaz.
Thank you, Mr. President. Bill 25-166 is amending section 339.202 of chapter 339, commercial and heavy vehicles of the Mansfield City of Mansfield codified ordinances of 1997 and declaring an emergency.
Any questions on 25-165? Ms. Mount?
Not a question, but just a comment. Thank you to the administration for working on this, because I know trucks not following the truck route has been an issue for a while, and I'm just glad to see something brought to us that will hopefully help address this problem.
Okay, anything else on 165?
Mr. President.
Yes, Mr. Fouquet.
Just maybe a question or a comment. had found out during my research on this that there's a plan for some additional signage. I also, is this the heavy truck one or is it the next one? This one. The heavy trucks seem to be, if they can stay on the state route, this does not affect them. It's when they're going off into the neighborhoods or downtown Mansfield or wherever there's special permits and things. So I didn't know if anybody on the administration had any comment about future signage that it's going to enhance, make it even more apparent to wayward truck drivers that they knew or should have known.
So I'll step in there, Councilman. So the answer to that is yes. So the engineer is planning to put new signage both in the north part of the city and the south to improve truck route signage, to make that obviously more visible to the truck traffic, either approaching from the north of the city or from the south. Obviously, I hope we never have to write one ticket, but it's we want to make it very clear. We want the trucks to stay on the approved truck routes, so they're not mixing in with pedestrians in our downtown area, and obviously not ruining our city streets that are very costly.
I just want to note that we've done quite a lot of patrols. I thank the chief for doing that. Sure enough, as soon as you go out, it quiets down for like a day and then they're back. And we, I think maybe, do you mind talking about the thing about this ordinance that it's not an automatic $1,000?
So this is an unclassified misdemeanor. So I met with both municipal judges. So when we look at the potential of $1,000 fine, I guess I want to make it clear to council and to the public that does not mean that when somebody's given a citation on the first offense, that it's going to be $1,000 fine. Now, I also want to make it very clear that obviously I am not a judge in the municipal court. That is their purview to decide on fines. But they have instructed me and told me that if we have repeat offenders, that yes, that could possibly be the fine of $1,000. We want to make a very strong message again to those drivers to stay on the routes, and hopefully with the new signage that indicates what those potential fines could be would persuade them otherwise. So they would probably start off as a normal fine of like a normal ticket and then proceed from there. But again, just so council's aware, that is at the discretion of the judge.
Mayor.
The engineering department did some work on aligning the street lights on Adams Street this year. So if you might have seen the pedestrian push buttons go up, that was part of that. So there is timing now so that we're trying to also help the trucks move through downtown. Obviously, when you're driving up the hills, you don't always want to stop with a big heavy truck. They have to, of course, but so we've also tried to push at it from that way to entice them, because when they come down Main Street, they will hit every light just like the rest of us. So it's really better for them if they go over there, better for us if we go to Mulberry. Thanks.
And I'll just add that, hopefully you've had a chance to look at the stats from the police department. I want to thank the chief and his people for getting on that. It's the constant complaints of that comes from to the 9th floor and obviously to the chief's office. And we're appreciative that they've been trying to tackle this problem, but we need another push to hopefully curb it.
Mr. Diaz.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to dispense of any further readings of this bill.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. We waive any further readings on Bill 25-166 and bring it forward to council this evening for final vote. Council should have the motion before them. Motion passes 8-0. Moving on to Bill 25-167, Mrs. Burns.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill is authorizing the Public Works Director to advertise for proposals and then to enter into a contract for our utility collection, printing, and mailing services. And after the comment period, I would like to.
Is there any questions, discussion on Bill 25-160? 25-167? Hearing none. Mrs. Burns?
Thank you, Mr. President. I make a motion to dispense with all further readings for Bill 25-167 and move it forward to a vote this evening.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded that we waive further readings of Bill 25-167 and bring it forward to council this evening for a final vote. Once again, council should have the motion before them. Motion passes 8-0. Bill 25-168, Mrs. Burns.
Thank you, Mr. President. And this bill is allowing our Public Works Director to advertise for proposals and then enter into a contract for the disposal and land application of wastewater sludge, which is very important stuff. If anybody wants to talk about it later, let me know. They get bored in here when I go on and on about it. Anyway, and I also would like to make a motion on this one after the comment period.
Absolutely. Is there any discussion on Bill 25-168? Hearing none. Mrs. Burns?
Thank you, Mr. President. I make a motion to place Bill 25-168 on the floor for a vote this evening and dispense with all further readings.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. We waive all further readings on Bill 25-168 and bring it forward to council this evening for a final vote. Motion is before you. Motion passes 8-0. Bill 25-169, Mrs. Burns.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill is authorizing our Public Works Director this time to purchase, according to a prearranged contract with Sourcewell Contract, a Bobcat backhoe loader for the amount of $82,163.08. And also,
Mr. Fouquet.
Standard question is in stock, and when do we take delivery after we approve it?
I don't know that this is on the lot. This is something that we would need in the spring. So if there was a little bit of lag time, we would still be good.
Thank you.
Any other questions, discussion on 169? That, Mrs. Burns?
thank you, Mr. President. I make a motion to dispense with all further readings on Bill 25-169 and move it forward for a vote this evening.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. Council shall cast their vote waiving further readings on Bill 25-169 and bring it forward for a final vote tonight during council. Motion passes 8-0. With that, call on Bill 25-170, Mr. Diaz.
Thank you, Mr. President. Bill 25-107 is authorizing the Safety Service Director to execute lease amendments with all tenants of the Mansfield-Lawton Airport in order to incorporate the stormwater pollution prevention plan developed and promulgated, hopefully I said that correctly, by the City of Mansfield Engineering Department and declaring an emergency.
Any discussion on Bill 25-170? Okay, hearing none, moving on. Bill 25-171, Mr. Fouquet.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is appropriating $20,000 from general fund over to permitting and codes for the rest of the year to cover contractual needs. And I know I saw somebody from there a minute ago.
I can take that, Council.
Does anybody have any questions? If they do, ask him.
So this is, obviously, we've had a lot of plan reviews, so that we just need more budget, which is a good thing within codes and permits. So we want to make sure we have enough funding for our plan reviews, the electrical inspections, and everything that deals with that. We'll cover that for the rest of the year.
Any
I-
other
Oh, sorry. Can I just add that those are pass-through fees too? So we raised those fee rates earlier in the year, so there will be corresponding income coming in for that too.
Any other questions, discussion on Bill 25-171? Okay, Bill 25-172, Mr. Paquette.
Thank you. This one's for $113,681.70 for a software upgrade for Microsoft 365 for the Mansfield City employees that use computers. And I'm sure it's because the old software is getting out of date and unable to be protected. But I also see Mr. IT in the back row in case anybody has any questions.
I have a question. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Hug, on this, it's a lot of money. Is this something that we need to do right away, or can we pass it through tonight, or make a motion to hold? I mean, what's best for you, and how's that going to affect the cost?
So we have to cross this bridge first before we do data conversion.
Okay.
So that's going to bring kind of everything that we have kind of in our on-prem solution now over to this cloud solution. So the sooner the bill passes, the quicker we can get to work on that next step.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
Mr. President,
Mr. Paquette.
there's no further discussion and no objection. I will move to place this forward for final passage this evening.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded that we waive further readings on Bill 25-172 and bring it forward for a final vote this evening during council. Motion passes 8-0. Bill 25-173, Ms. Robertson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Bill 173 is expressing support for an internal program name change to the city's 2025 projected uses for the community development block grant funds. Director Ackerman cannot be here. She has another meeting tonight. So basically, to help explain this a little bit before I take questions, there was a change. It's kind of, if anyone's familiar with grants, it's like doing a budget adjustment. It's allowable within the grant. It's not a problem. But they're changing from the garden program to the elder program to provide meals. The cost does not change. What was allocated originally that we voted on is the same. And it's just a budget adjustment to move it instead into providing for the meals instead of the garden. And I'll stand for any questions if anyone, try to answer them the best I can.
Is there, Mr. Cucci?
Is there any particular reason why they change in the name?
It's so they're moving the garden. There was some issue that popped up, and they were going to have some problems, I guess, implementing that. So they're moving it now. They're just changing the funds to the elder program to move it to something where they can start immediately getting the funds expended and also serving the community and meeting I'm losing my train of thought. Yes, of the grant itself. So that's why.
Okay, so in other words, you're not getting rid of the garden completely.
No. That's my understanding. I mean, they're not.
It has to do with environmental. So with the HUD rules now, we have to do a lot more environmental things. The garden, and that is on leased land. And so it was just becoming difficult between the lessee and getting all this time in the time spent. So it's functioning and operational, and they're just gonna, kind of do the move funds from another thing into the garden, and then we'll cover the elder meals for them. Or the meals. Yeah, sorry.
Are there any other questions?
Any other questions or discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Bill 25-174, Mr. Diaz.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill is delegating certain management responsibilities concerning Mansfield Alam Airport to the Safety Service Director and his designees in order to enhance administrative efficiency.
Is there any discussion on Bill 25-174? Hearing Ms. Mount?
Sorry, just wondering if we could get an explanation as to why this is coming, your reasoning.
So for the sake of efficiency, of going through the lease process with the leasees or the leaseor, being the city, was to make that a quicker turnaround, faster. Now, I know that causes the process now of that coming back to council every time, I guess, causes some issues with the leasees, and it is not very efficient as for the law director's office. And at this time, that's when I'll kick it down to Dave to give further in regards to that.
Yeah, thank you. So whenever there's a transaction with a hangar out at the airport, it starts between the hangar tenants themselves, because there's actual, the city owns the real property. The tenants build the hangars on top of them, and they own the hangar. And it's actually, it's a little different than anywhere else because they don't own the ground. They just lease it. So these transactions start between the tenants. They sell them to each other, and then they have to come to the city and enter into a new lease, which is very routine. So they'll sit down at the closing table. They'll sign everything. They'll be with, Director Doherty out at the airport. He'll take all their papers, and they look at him and say, well, why aren't you signing it? Why aren't we done? And he says, oh, no. I take these to the law director. They write it up in legislation. They submit it to council. We'll be back here in about 3 weeks with finalized docs. So this would allow the airport representative to sign the lease on behalf of the airport at a closing table. So when they close on a hangar, they don't have to wait around for 3 weeks for us to get back to them with updated legislation. Now, that being said, anytime there's a change in lease rates, that would have to come before council, and council would also the administration would also need to provide council reports at council's discretion. Thank you.
And Mr. Fouquet?
Thank you, Mr. President. I've been chewing on this back and forth because there's not that many of them. And for us to handle them, I didn't think was ever a big slowdown, but now I'm hearing it could be 3 weeks. We've got that responsibility to sign these off. I'm certainly believe that any safety service director, current one included, is capable of doing it. But I just wanted to point out, if you're unsure, have some reason that you think they should run by us, we maybe should talk a minute longer. Otherwise, we just need to remember that the airport, we should get those reports and watch what's going on out there a little bit and watch the lease rates and the cost and things like that. I thought it was nice that at least you'd see them going past here what the lease rates were. But I also feel the pain of business people trying to buy a hangar or permission to use it or whatever it is, and it just slowing down the process. So I'm not against it. I just had those concerns, and I think I'm okay with it personally, but I wanted to voice it in case anybody else might have thought of the same thing.
Any of Ms. Mount?
Is this only for hangars that are already built, already existing, or is this, so basically leases that currently exist? If there's anything new, would it come to us? If there was a new build, new lease, something like that, or is it just only for existing hangars that get sold?
I hadn't thought of that question. I think that to build anything outdoor to create a change in use at the airport would require council's involvement. So yeah, I don't think they would be able to grow the current footprint without bringing it before council.
Mayor?
Mr. President, I just want to note, these are the T hangars. So when you see the larger hangars that Gorman Rupp has and many of the others, they own those. So, but the T hangars operate this way, right? Or am I speaking out of, yeah, okay. We've had a lot of conversation about should it continue down the road, and we're not in line with other airports on this, but neither are we sitting on a lot of money to go build things out there. So at the moment it's working, but I think, those hangars also, by the way, the T hangars were built in the 40s and 50s. So, I mean, a little bit has changed in the world since then.
Any other discussion on Bill 25-174? Hearing none, Mr. Diaz.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to make a motion to dispense of any further readings and move forward for consideration.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. We waive further reading on Bill 25-174 and bring it forward to council this evening for a final vote. Motion passes 8. We'll act on it this evening. Bill 25-175, Mr. Falkett.
Thank you, Mr. President. This one's the one that Ms. Shetty explained, I hope, well, along with the mayor's comments about regional planning and having a agreement with them to come up with a land use plan in the future.
Any discussion on Bill 25-175? Huh?
Mr. President,
Mr. Falkett?
I'll make a motion to move 25-175 forward tonight, avoid all further readings, and place it on the floor for a vote at that time.
Second.
It's been regularly moved and seconded that we waive further readings on Bill 25-175 and bring it forward to council this evening for a final vote. Motion passes 8-0. Okay, is there anything else further to come before caucus this evening? Hearing none, I'll accept the motion to adjourn caucus.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. We adjourn caucus at 7:50. With that, at 7:51, I will call this meeting of Mansfield City Council to order. Please stand for the pledge and remain standing for the prayer.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Akuchi?
Let's pray. Precious Heavenly Father, we thank you for giving us a wonderful day. We thank you for the change in the season, this beautiful, it's been so amazing just to experience your nature. Thank you. Lord, tonight, as we make decisions that affect your city, we pray, God, that you will guide us, just give us discernment, wisdom, and understanding to make decisions that will please you. We thank you for your blessings upon our city. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. The clerk will call the roll.
Mrs. Burns, present. Mrs. Meyer,
Present.
Mr. Akuchie,
Present.
Miss Daly,
Here.
Mr. Diaz,
Here?
Miss Mount, Miss Robertson,
Here.
Mr. Falkett,
Here.
President Scott.
Present. Unless there is an objection, the reading of the journal and correspondence will be dispensed with. Okay, before we get into public comment, once again, I would remind everybody, please come up to the microphone, state your name and address, and as is common practice, rule, we allow 3 minutes. So I will give you a little sign that the time's up. So with that, we'll start off with Yonda Allen. Miss Allen?
Good evening. I sent letters, and I know you've received emails, but I wanted to put a face behind some of the words that you have received. My name is Yolanda Allen. I am a resident at 312 Dale Avenue. I've resided there for over 50 years. During my school years, we lived on East First Street. During my earlier years and my adult years, myself and my family have frequented John's John Todd Park innumerable number of times. We have celebrated birthday parties in the lower parts, picnics, stream wading, catching tadpoles, fireflies, pickup baseball games, and just enjoying the beauty of nature. I'm now part of a group called Greater Grace, Greater Mitchell Chapel AME Church and Grace Episcopal, which adopted John Todd Park in May of 2025 through Mansfield City Parks and Recreation. Our group, born out of two churches, have spent many hours cleaning up trash both at the top of the park and down in the ravine, because we believe it is a very special part of God's creation. It offers playground, basketball, sports, and picnic shelters, as well as an amazing, beautiful forest in the ravine. We want the whole park to be protected, including the ravine, so children and families living in the city can come and experience the majesty of Ohio's oldest forest, just as kids in the country and many of us did in years past. We are hoping access and improved trails can be added to John Todd Park. Invasive species can be removed and trails made beautiful along the creek. It can be a beautiful park, but is it too much for Greater Grace or Park? But it is too much for Greater Grace or Parks and Recreation to do alone. We appreciate the resources the Land Conservatory can bring to help us, and also the land being given, by James Boyd for a foot trail to connect the park to Cleveland Avenue is a small measure to give up. My question to council is, when a family donates park land, how much control do they have after donating the property? Was it designated for so many years? Does a family pay taxes on that property? I believe if these endangered species were found in another local park, the residents close to said park would be up in arms to promote the salvaging of these precious resources. We love John Todd Park, and we are asking you to join in helping make it a beautiful and unique park in the city. Please sign the conservation easement protecting the 14-acre old growth, the ravine, and its ravine. Please vote yes on November the 5th to permanently protect John Todd Park. Thank you.
Thank you. And before I call up the next person, I might add that sometimes we do not get into discussion back and forth between the presenter and council. So we hear your point, we hear your stand on the issue, but we do not get into any discussion back and forth. It's just, I wanted to say that so it doesn't seem like we're being rude. So with that, I'll call up on the next person, Bryant Scott.
Hello, everybody. I'm just speaking up for the park and my community. I've been in Columbus the last 20 years, but I was born and raised around John Todd Park. And ever since I was 5 years old, I'm just here to see if I can help get the park redone and make it look nice like some of the other parks in the neighborhood. And if we can get the community cleaned up and stuff. That's all I want to say.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Next one, I believe, is Cedric Jones. He left? Okay. Moving on to Lonnie Crotcher. And I apologize if I mispronounce anybody's name.
Hello, my name is Lonnie Crawford. First of all, I want to say thanks for the work you got done on Cleveland Avenue to the mayor. Appreciate that. I'm here about the beautification of Mansfield and the trash. To ask you guys, I asked a couple years ago to change that law that trash bags are a container, which it is, but to change it to that all residents should have sturdy, animal-proof containers with lids on it. Because, I mean, you walk around Mansfield, it's just trash everywhere. You see trash bags all over the place. That needs to be changed to beautify the city. And so that's all I wanted to say. It's something about changing that law to have animal-proof containers outside for all residents. And not only that, the way the landlords are charging rent nowadays, they should be able to afford trash containers or the animal-proof containers for their, for the residents. That's all I had to say. Thanks.
Thank you. Next, Doug Caldwell.
I'm going to forgo tonight.
Okay. James Boyd.
I'm going to sit down because I take up a little too much room here. First off, I wanted to say I'm James Boyd at 2375 Forest Hill Circle. I wanted to thank council for giving us all the opportunity to speak on this. I know it's a touchy subject at times, but I just wanted to make a statement on this subject of John Todd Park. As I said, I am a local developer, business owner, and conservationist here in Mansfield. When I invest in Mansfield, I look for ways and opportunities to strengthen our community while protecting what makes it special, just like this gorge. That's not just good ethics, that's good economics. Parks and green corridors raise property values, manage stormwater naturally, and attract families, business, and investment. That's why I support the conservation easement of John Todd Park. It does not restrict development. It does not take away the city's rights or limit future growth. It simply says we won't clear cut old growth trees and, excuse me, and that will allow invasive species to be removed so that the forest can stay healthy. That's it, nothing more. When General James Hedges settled here in 1807, he chose that ravine not for what he could take from it, but what it could teach future generations about the beauty of Mansfield, Richland County, and its biodiversity. Over a century later, John Todd honored that same vision by donating that land instead of selling it. The easement before you tonight honors that tradition and keeps Mansfield's natural heart intact while still allowing responsible growth all the way around it. As a developer, I've signed a contract to donate land that connects John Todd Park to Cleveland Avenue once this easement is recorded, because I believe protecting this ravine enhances the entire neighborhood, and that's how communities will prosper. So I am asking for you to vote yes, not just for the conservation, but for common sense and long-term value and the kind of progress that Mansfield can be proud of. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Vaughn Hofford.
Mayor and Council, my name is Van Hafford, and John Todd Park is my neighbor. I live there right there at 334 Greendale Avenue. And a lot of times you might want to know, well, who's the best, Rolling Stones or Beatles? Elvis Presley or George Jones? Michael Jackson or Prince? But there's nothing sounds better than the little kids out there playing, having fun. When you hear those little kids out there playing, having fun, you know everything is safe and everything is nice. I remember it was a pit bull. He came in our yard and attacked this girl, and the girl ran in our yard. And mom told my brother, go out there. This dog is biting this little girl. And my brother tried to get the dog away off of the little girl, but he was just biting. So he ended up having to hit the dog. And the dog just went up in our yard and sit down like he was a good old dog after that. But my thing that I really want to say is that your church has been coming to the park and they've been reading books to children. It's just been such a blessing for the churches to come, and I thank them for coming, and the people in the churches that come to that park and read books to the little kids. And I thank this pastor, and that's all I have to say. And thank you, Mansfield, for all your hard work.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the Mansfield City Council. My name is Father Christopher Hofer. I live at 106 Samaritan Avenue, unfortunately in Ashland, but I have the privilege to be priest in charge at Grace in Mansfield. Over the past year, our congregation has been working closely with the Greater Mitchell Chapel AME Church to break down racial barriers through community gatherings, joint worship services, and by adopting John Todd Park as a service project to keep it clean and usable for all residents as part of our Greater Grace initiative. Now, you heard a little about a bit of the story. The land was originally intended to be a park for the community. It goes back to 1807 when General James Hedges envisioned creating a park from his farm. He believed it was the most beautiful part of the forest. He died before bringing this dream to life. But the dream, however, lived on as John Todd in 1941 decided to donate that land. So the dream of the park goes back 200 years. The land continues to be a vital part of our community. The Greater Grace Initiative and our partner churches have enjoyed using the park for various activities in 2025. We appreciate all the work done to improve the park, removing trash, maintaining the trails, and enhancing its overall beauty. It's a common sense decision to vote yes on the proposed conservation easement. Doing so will help us protect and enhance the entire park, removing invasive species, improving walking trails, increasing accessibility, and safeguarding the beautiful trees in the ravine, which will also prevent erosion. This isn't about us versus them. It's about leveraging expertise and resources to ensure that the John Todd Park remains a healthy, beautiful space for children and adults alike to enjoy now and for generations to come. We trust that the North Central Ohio Land Conservancy to work alongside City Parks and Recreation and the Greater Grace Initiative to make John Todd Park a lasting treasure for the city of Mansfield for the next 200 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Mason Mount.
My name is Mason Mount, and I live at 114 Cliffbrook. And I am thankful for the neighbors and the churches that are working in John Todd to make it a good place to be. The only thing I want to bring up about this John Todd Park issue is I feel that the city ought to maintain control of the situation and enable the Conservancy to do their work and to even, if necessary, give them resources. But I do not think it's right for non-elected and nobody that's responsible to elected people. They need to be responsible to elected people. To, like right now, okay, the people who own the Conservancy or run the Conservancy, let's say we trust them, okay? Let's say we trust them. Who's to say that they're not going to go corrupt? Most things in life will go corrupt eventually. What does the city have in line in this legislation that's going to prevent a corrupt organization from doing things that we don't want? If we have that in the legislation, I didn't see it, I apologize, but I'm just wanting to bring up the warning. I really think that Louis Andrus, who's the park person who just got hired, would be a good resource to oversee it. And I think that if we could structure it that way, I think it would be a lot safer for the city and for the community and for the park. The other thing is, I definitely agree with not clear cutting or anything like that, but once in a while you'll have a tree that gets diseased, and it's better for everybody and every tree in the forest if you take that tree down and get it out of there so that the other trees don't get the same disease. So if you have it in your legislation that no tree can be cut down in that conservancy, you may be hurting yourself. So those are the things I wanted to bring up. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, Eric Miller.
Hello, thank you. I'm Eric Miller. I live at 693 Coleman Road in Mansfield, and I'll just speak to the question about what happens if NCLC was going to became corrupt. We plan for that contingency. We put a clause in the conservation easement that says if we're failing to do our job, the city or any citizen in the city can file an action to take the responsibility under the conservation easement away from us and entrust it to another organization that is ready and able to do that. And the reason for that is we don't enrich ourselves by holding a conservation easement, and we're simply pledging that we will be there to make sure the city keeps its promise that it's not going to timber or log those trees. So you make that promise, and we're simply a mechanism there by which you make that promise and make it permanent. When you make that promise permanent, then other people are motivated to remove the invasive species that are otherwise going to take over and ruin the forest that you think you're protecting. So it's an unselfish act to say that if we're not doing our job, we can be removed. It's a fundamentally unselfish decision on the part of NCOLC to put that clause in our conservation easements. I hope that answers the concern of Mr. Mount. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay. That concludes public comment. So we will now proceed with, I'm sorry. Does any mayor or any of the directors have anything to add at this time?
I do have a point of clarification. This is why you shouldn't give me a microphone all the time. I did misspeak about the larger hangars. So those still have the land lease, of course, but the ones you see most often are those T hangars, and the rest that I said was right. So please forgive me.
With that, we shall proceed with legislation, and I'll call on Mr. Akuchi.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move with respect to bills 25-171, bill 25-172, and bill 25-174, that the rule requiring legislation be submitted by Monday at 4 p.m. be suspended, and that bill 25-171, bill 25-172, and bill 25-174 be allowed on the floor this evening.
Second.
Then regularly moved and seconded. Council shall cast a vote on the motion. Motion passes 7-1. Mr. Akuchi.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move with respect to all bills that come before council this evening, that the rule requiring reading on 3 different days be suspended, that each bill be read one time by title only.
Second.
Regularly moved and seconded. Council shall cast a vote on the motion. Motion passes 7-1. Okay. Okay, we shall start with legislation, starting with Bill 25-163 and Mrs. Burns.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Bill 25-163 be read and placed upon the floor for discussion.
Second.
It's been regularly moved and seconded. The clerk shall read Bill 25-163.
Granting a conservation easement to the the North Central Ohio Land Conservancy Incorporated, an Ohio non-for-profit corporation of 693 Coleman Road, Mansfield, Ohio 44903, from the city of Mansfield for conservation of old growth trees at John Todd Park, Mansfield, Ohio.
Is there any discussion on Bill 25-163? Ms. O'Neill.
Mr. Mount, we have in the law that we have at number 6, reserve rights. Remove, guarantor reserves all rights as owners of the conservation property, including the right to use the property for all purpose consistent with the agreement specifically. Grantor may remove dead, diseased, or damaged portion of old growth trees when necessary for safety reasons.
Any other questions, discussion? Mr. Akuchi?
Thank you, Mr. President. I wanted to make sure also that people know it's not the whole John Todd Park is asking for. They're asking for only 12 acres of the portion, so not the whole John Todd Park.
Ms. Mount?
I could talk for a while on this, but I'll try to summarize it as short as I can. From my perspective, I have to bear in mind the entirety of the park, the concerns, longstanding concerns of the neighbors regarding the upkeep of the park, the pavilion, the basketball courts. But also my chief concern today, if we cannot table it until a later date, I cannot support it at this point when we do not have the clearly defined precise place this conservation easement will be within the park. To sign over a undetermined part of the park perpetually is foolhardy. I would like to see that clearly defined before we would consider entering into something perpetual and permanent.
Any other questions, discussion on Bill 25-163? Hearing nothing further. Mrs. Burns?
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Bill 25-163 be placed upon the floor for final passage.
Second.
Council shall cast their vote for final passage of Bill 25-163. Bill passes 7-1. Okay, moving on to Bill 25-164. Mrs. Meyer?
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Bill 25-164 be read and placed upon the floor for discussion.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Clerk shall read Bill 25-164.
Honoring canine dog Mikkel upon his retirement from the Mansfield Police Department.
Was there any discussion? We read the legislation in full in caucus, but is there any discussion on Bill 25-164? Hearing none. Mrs. Meyer?
Thank you, sir. I move that Bill 25-164 be placed upon the floor for final passage.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. Council shall cast their vote for final passage of Bill 25-164. Bill passes 8-0. Bill 25-165, Mrs. Meyer?
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Bill 25-165 be read and placed upon the floor for discussion.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. The clerk shall read Bill 25-165.
Approving the presentation of Police Department Canine Mikkel to his handler.
Is there any discussion on Bill 25-165? Hearing none. Mrs. Meyer?
Thank you, sir. I move the bill 25-165 be placed upon the floor for final passage.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. Council shall cast their vote for final passage of Bill 25-165. Bill passes 8-0. Bill 25-166, Mr. Diaz.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that bill, where am I at? Bill 25-166 be read and placed upon the floor for discussion.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. The clerk shall read Bill 25-166.
Amending section 339.02 of chapter 339, commercial and heavy vehicles of the City of Mansfield Codified Ordinances of 1997 and declaring an emergency.
Any discussion on Bill 25-166? Hearing none. Mr. Diaz.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Bill 25-166 be placed upon the floor for final passage.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. Council shall cast their vote for final passage of Bill 25-166. Bill passes 8-0. Bill 25-167, Mrs. Burns.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Bill 25-167 be read and placed upon the floor for discussion.
Second.
Regularly moved and seconded. The clerk shall read Bill 25-167.
Authorizing the Public Works Director to advertise for proposals and to enter into a contract for utility collection printing and mailing services and declaring an emergency.
Any discussion on Bill 25-167? Okay, hearing none. Mrs. Burns.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Bill 25-167 be placed upon the floor for final passage.
Been regularly moved and seconded. Council shall cast their vote for final passage of Bill 25-167. Bill passes 8-0. Bill 25-168, Mrs. Burns.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Bill 25-168 be read and placed upon the floor for discussion.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. The clerk shall read Bill 25-168.
Authorizing the Public Works Director to advertise for proposals and to enter into a contract for the disposal and land application of wastewater sludge and declaring an emergency.
Is there any discussion on Bill 25-168? Hearing none. Mrs. Burns.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Bill 25-168 be placed upon the floor for final passage.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. Council shall cast their vote for final passage of Bill 25-168. Bill passes 8-0. Bill 25-169, Mrs. Burns.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Bill 25-169 be read and placed upon the floor for discussion.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. The clerk shall read Bill 25-169.
Authorizing the Public Works Director to purchase according to Sourcewell Contract 020223-CEC 1 Bobcat backhoe loader from Bobcat, 480 West Henry Street, Worcester, Ohio 44691 in the amount of $82,163.08 and declaring an emergency.
Is there any discussion on Bill 25-169? Hearing none. Mrs. Burns.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Bill 25-169 be placed upon the floor for final passage.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. Council shall cast their vote for final passage of Bill 25-169. Bill passes 8-0. Bill 25-170, Mr. Diaz.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move that Bill 25-170 be read and placed upon the floor for discussion.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. The clerk shall read Bill 25-170.
Authorizing the Safety Service Director to execute lease amendments with all tenants of the Mansfield-Lom Airport in order to incorporate the stormwater pollution prevention plan developed and promulgated by the City of Mansfield Engineering Department and declaring an emergency.
Is there any discussion on Bill 25-170? Hearing none, Mr. Diaz.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Bill 25-107 be placed upon the floor for final passage.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. Council shall cast their vote for final passage of Bill 25-170. Bill passes 8-0. Bill 25-171, Mr. Fauquet.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Bill 25-171 be read and placed upon the floor for discussion.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. The clerk shall read Bill 25-171.
Appropriating the sum of $20,000 from the unappropriated general fund number 101 for the purpose of paying unanticipated plan reviews, electrical inspections, and other contractual services through December 31st, 2025, and declaring an emergency.
Any discussion on Bill 25-171? Hearing none, Mr. Fauquet.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Bill 25-171 be placed upon the floor for final passage.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. Council shall cast their vote for final passage of Bill 25-171. Bill passes 8-0. Bill 25-172, Mr. Fauquet.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Bill 25-172 be read and placed upon the floor for discussion.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. The clerk shall read Bill 25-172.
Authorizing the Safety Service Director to purchase Microsoft 365 for all City of Mansfield employees pursuant to State of Ohio contract number C000000181105 from Microsoft at Carasoft, 11493 Sunset Hills Road, Suite 100, Reston, Virginia 20190 in the amount of $113,681.70.
Is there any discussion on Bill 25-172?
Mr. President, if I can jump in there.
Yes, sir.
So just to make it clear to council, this is going to be an annual subscription so that we're paying this every year. This is not a one-time fee for that software.
Mr. President. For how long?
Robertson.
Forever. I didn't want to say it.
It is in the budget headed your way, just to be clear.
No, that's good. Good to know. Good to know.
Start a software company when we're done here.
Yeah,
Amen.
That's subscriptions are the way to go, apparently.
Okay. Any other questions, discussion, further comments on Bill 25-172? Okay. Hearing none, seeing Mr. Fauquet.
Thank you, sir. I move that Bill 25-172 be placed upon the floor for final passage.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. Council shall cast their vote for final passage of Bill 25-172. Bill passes 8-0. Bill 25-173, Ms. Robertson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Bill 25-173 be read and placed upon the floor for discussion.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. The clerk shall read Bill 25-173.
Expressing support for the internal program name change to the city's 2025 projected uses for the Community Development Block Grant Funds.
Any discussion on Bill 25-173? Okay, hearing none. Ms. Robertson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Bill 25-173 be placed upon the floor for final passage.
Been regularly moved and seconded. Council shall cast their vote for final passage of Bill 25-173. Bill passes 8-0. Bill 25-174, Mr. Diaz.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Bill 24-174 be read and placed upon the floor for discussion.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. Clerk shall read Bill 25-174.
Delegating certain management responsibilities concerning Mansfield Lom Regional Airport to the Safety Service Director and his designees in order to enhance administrative efficiency.
Any discussion on Bill 25-174? Hearing none, Mr. Diaz.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Bill 25-174 be placed upon the floor for final passage.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. Council shall cast their vote for final passage of Bill 25-174. Bill passes 8-0. And our last bill for this evening, Bill 25-175. Mr. Fouquet.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Bill 25-175 be read and placed upon the floor for discussion.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. The clerk shall read Bill 25-175.
Authorizing the Safety Service Director to execute an agreement with the Richland County Regional Planning Commission and declaring an emergency.
Is there any discussion on Bill 25-175? Hearing none, Mr. Fouquet.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that Bill 25-175 be placed upon the floor for final passage.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded. Council shall cast their vote for final passage of Bill 25-175. Bill passes 8-0. Is there anything further to come before council this evening? Hearing nothing, I would accept a motion to adjourn.
Move to close.
Second.
Been regularly moved and seconded that we adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. We are adjourned.